Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mercy and I'm excited to see you. I'm on the last legs of my orthodontist treatment. So my teeth, now I can actually stay a few hours without the braces. So I'm trying to record as much as possible the few hours without braces because I don't even think I remember how to talk without those things. It's been an interesting 2 years. Yeah. So the story today we are going to be talking about is something that I saw over the weekend, and it's a story that's making headlines in on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, everywhere. I think it's the story that many of us are choosing sides depending on your wallet. So the story is about this Ugandan judge who is a UN judge also, and she's based in London. She was working in she was doing her PhD in London, and she has been arrested for modern day slavery. Now, of course, someone is wondering, oh, she's a UN judge and she was arrested. Diplomatic immunity, hello. Well, apparently the diplomatic immunity was waived when she was arrested. Okay, so what's shocking about this? Well, it's not just the crime itself, it's the fact that we actually do have modern day slavery. And I think what's shocking me personally, as a human being, as me, as Mercy, is the fact that so many Africans online, like when I'm looking at the comments from other videos talking about this, there are more people who are actually defending the judge and not I'll call her the housekeeper. I don't really feel like calling her the slave. So yeah, so more people are defending the judge than the housekeeper. Their reasoning is they are saying that for them, they feel like the housekeeper used that modern day slavery argument for her to be able to get asylum and stay in the UK. This apparently, well, not apparently, I kind of know a few people who this has happened to. This is something that happens to a number of people. They move abroad and realize that, okay, I cannot afford a nanny or a housekeeper or a full time help in the diaspora. So I will go back home and get a relative or somebody who was my former nanny and bring her here, and then she can do the full time work. However, laws in many countries have limitations on how many hours somebody can work or things like that. So many people are actually able to identify with this judge because they're doing the same thing. So the arguments are this maid escaped poverty, and whatever she was being paid there is millions in Uganda. She would not be making the same amount if she was living in Uganda. Oh yes, this woman gave her a job, and she knew what she was getting into. She knew what she signed. She should be grateful. There's all this because she was being housed and fed and all that, so she should be grateful. So that's the one side of it. However, let's just stop for a second and imagine, you know? So I keep saying that I'm going to do a video about my long summer in Kenya. I've given up on that because I'm not seeing me getting the time. But I saw something that was interesting, and it was one of the things that I wanted to talk about. Many households still treat their house helps like they are not human. They treat them differently. They don't treat them like human beings. And this is not just house helps, this is any person in a junior position. So we still have quite a hierarchy based system. And I remember one time I was on the phone talking to one of my colleagues who just happens to be more senior to me. And the person that I was next to was very surprised that I was calling this person by their first name because we still kind of have a very hierarchy thing. And so you can imagine the house help ends up being the person that is the lowest in this food chain of people because you come from your job and this is the only person that you are more important than. And for many people, even when I see comments online, these people eat different food. Some of them use different plates. They cannot sit at the table with the rest of the family. They are spoken to like children. They are even sometimes they're actually not even spoken to as children because these people love their children. So they are spoken to like property, like you are subhuman, and it's one of those things of they are really, and we it's so normal that because everybody is doing it, it becomes very, very normal. Yeah. And you know what happens when you treat someone as less than human? They start believing it. Yeah. They start behaving like that and they accept this abuse, and in return they sometimes try to do something else to harm you. So this is where you start hearing, okay, fine, there are people who are just naturally evil, but then there are people who, because you're treating me badly and you're leaving me with your children, somebody decides, okay, I'm going to treat your children badly so that you can feel how I feel. When they accept this abuse because it feels normal, and I mean, many of them just say that's just how it is because, well, many times they're not that educated. Some of them are orphans. Some of them actually family members who are less privileged than the family member who's keeping them there. And then, so you get so used to treating these people really badly, and then life just moves on, right? And continue. Then what happens when you move abroad? We carry this mentality with us. The mentality that the person who's cleaning your house is not a human being. She's just somebody who's cleaning your house. Now, tell me something. When people from the diaspora hire nannies, are they looking from their own circles? Are they hiring a nanny who, why are they not hiring somebody from where they are? So if you're in the US, why are you not hiring somebody who's already in the US? Why are you going back home to get somebody and to get somebody who needs you more than you need them? Because because and then you go like, oh, they cost more when they're here, but yeah, so the one that you bring, shouldn't you be paying them a fair wage and giving them the same amount of hours? That's because you're looking for something cheap. You're looking for cheap help. And a help who will not complain about the long hours. You're looking for a help who won't ask for days off. And even if they have days off, which I would like to really, really put in quotes, because some of these days off, I know a woman who says that her days off are Sundays because they go to church together. But then you're in church, you're seated, she's running after your kids. So how is that her day off? She doesn't even get to go to the church that she wants to go to because she has to go to the family church. A help that will accept good pay in exchange for no freedom. And by good pay, I use that term very lightly because one thing you will notice, you're living in Switzerland, paying this help, and every time you refer to her salary, you're referring to it in Kenya shillings, in CFR, in Uganda shillings. You're always referring to it in the currency back home, as if the things that when she goes to the supermarket, as if she's going to be paying with that currency. That's not it. That, honestly, is not employment. It is servitude. It really is. And I think, some people might call it slavery, some people might call it, but it's just not human dignity. We know that. But of course, we're going to pretend that we don't know it because many of us are guilty or know somebody who we really love and respect who is guilty of this. Let me take some tea. When we think of slavery, we are thinking of chains, we are thinking of whips, we are thinking of um, black people being put in boats and moved to a different place. But slavery has been happening all through the world. This is not a history lesson. It's just something that's there. But then there's modern day slavery. And we see this a lot, and we talk about this a lot when it's somebody who moves from, let's say, for example, the workers who move from Kenya to go and work in Saudi Arabia, and then they're treated badly. There are some of them killed, and then they're brought back home in coffins. And we talk about that as slavery. But why are we talking about it as slavery? Because the person who's doing it looks different from us. However, when it is somebody who looks like us, we don't look at it as slavery. We just look at it as I'm privileged, you're not, so you're helping me to continue my privilege. So slavery, modern day slavery, is a maid working 18-hour shifts with no breaks. And if she takes a break, you start questioning why she's going out and why do you even have friends? How did you meet that person? Or, like, for example, if your maid has a boyfriend and then it bothers you the fact that at the end of her shift, she wants to go and talk to that boyfriend. It looks like a nanny being told she's part of the family, but when it's time to eat, she is cleaning the kitchen or she's cleaning the dishes. So she either eats before or after, most of the time after the family has eaten. A modern day worker with no legal protection because her employer is holding her passport, which is the case for so many of these people. Oh, she's not responsible. She'll lose her passport, so I'll just keep her passport for her. The fact that even when they are going on vacation, they either carry this domestic worker and go with her, and then, oh, I bought her tickets, so she can go see her family for 2-3 days, but the rest of the time I still need help with the kids, yet you're on vacation. So yes, this Ugandan judge might have given this woman a job, but what was the cost? No, seriously, what was the cost? Just because something is normalized back home doesn't really make it right, because you know better, you have seen, and there's a reason why those laws are there. So there's a reason why that minimum wage is high, because somebody needs that much to be able to survive in this country. So there's a reason why people here, unless you're very, 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 very rich, do not have full-time house help. There's a reason why when people are in the diaspora, either you break your back and die of exhaustion, or you teach your children how to be autonomous, how to clean, how to help you in the house, how to do domestic chores, so that everybody in the house is sharing responsibilities. There's a reason why when you move to the diaspora, your husband, who was used to never doing anything in the house, has to actually step in and kind of help, whether it's by cooking, cleaning up, washing, doing the laundry, whatever it is that it takes. But it becomes a family affair because it is very hard to afford 24-hour help. So when you look at it and decide that my shortcut is going to be that I will run back home, get somebody who needs this, and then, and give yourself the justification that you're helping that person out of poverty, well, let's be honest. If we truly cared about helping that person out of poverty, you would pay them that livable wage. You would let them have their days off. you would let them have their evenings off, because honestly, most of these people, if we are honest, do not give them the number of hours off that they deserve. They probably work until the family goes to sleep, and even when they are not working, they are still in the house, and every time they set foot outside, it's where are you going, how are you going to do it, why, who are you going with, and all that. Are you giving them the wages that they are supposed to have, and not making this seem like, oh, I'm paying her millions in our country? Those millions are not pounds. If you're paying them £1,000,000, that's different, but they're not. Are you scared that if they talk, like, you should actually have one who, if she talks about her living standards, it will still be the same. There will be no difference in what she's saying about her living standards. It will all still be the same, and you're not worried about what she says. But if you have to train her on what to say if somebody asks her about her living situation and her situation in the country, then already you're doing something wrong. So we're just dressing up exploitation in a nice suit and calling it opportunity. Honestly, you and deep down, that what you're doing is wrong. Yes, definitely, there is going to be a bit of the side where there are some people who do take advantage. They accept everything and they come to these countries, to these arrangements, knowing full well that when I get there, they have already been told, when you get there, make sure you record everything, and then after like a certain number of months, then you can go ahead and report this person, and you will get your asylum and you will be able to stay. Now, that is a possibility. However, it's a risk you're taking when you are doing things not the right way. I feel sorry for her. I feel sorry for the judge, for the simple reason that she really underestimated how messed up people can be. But on the other hand, the fact that she went through a lot of corners to just make sure that to get this girl into the country, to me, already shows that she knew what the consequences of what she was planning to do. All right, so let me know in the comment sections if you think that the girl who was brought here, who was brought to the UK, was wrong in reporting this woman, because clearly they had an arrangement, and she changed her mind. Or do you think this woman, she's a judge, she should have known better?